In the last video, we talked about variables. If you missed it, I recommend watching it. Today, we'll show you how to set up Visual Studio Code and explain the differences between var, const, and let. Now we are going to set up Visual Studio Code Editor. What is Code Editor? A code editor is like a digital notebook for writing code. It's a special program that helps you write, edit, and organize your code. There are many code editors out there, some free and some paid. For beginners, I recommend starting with a free and popular one like Visual Studio Code, often called VS Code. Let's download VS Code. Open your web browser and search for Visual Studio Code download. Click on the official website link. Click on the download link for your operating system, Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. I am downloading for Windows. Once the download is complete, locate the downloaded file and run the installer. The installation process is usually straightforward. Just follow the on-screen instructions. Accept the license agreement and choose the default installation options. Now that we have our code editor installed, let's create our first project folder. Once VS Code is open, first let's open our project folder. Click on this icon here to open your file explorer or use the shortcut Ctrl+Shift+E. Open folder. I've already created a folder named JavaScript on my desktop, but you can create yours anywhere. Now, let's create our first JavaScript file. Click on this icon here to create a new file. We'll name it first.js. Remember, JavaScript files use the .js extension. Now, let's write our first line of JavaScript code. This line tells the computer to display Hi Online Web Tutorials. To see this code running, we need to open it in a web browser. Copy the file path. Now, open Chrome and paste the path into the address bar. The browser treats it as a text file. It won't execute the JavaScript directly like that. See? This is important to understand. To actually run this JavaScript code, we'll need to embed it in an HTML file. If you already know HTML, great. If not, don't worry. We'll explain the basics of HTML along the way as we teach you JavaScript. You won't have any problems. Now, let's create an HTML file so we can run our JavaScript. Type Shift plus the exclamation mark and press Enter. This will give you a basic HTML structure. Inside the head or body tag, we'll add a script tag. We'll use the src attribute to link to our first.js file. Because first.js is in the same folder as index.html, we just write the file name. If it were in a different folder, you'd need to provide the correct path. VS Code is helpful here. If you hold Ctrl and click on first.js in the src attribute, VS Code will try to open that file. This helps you check that the path is correct. Save the HTML file. Change the URL from first.js to first.html. Open the developer tools, right-click, Inspect. Go to the console. You should now see Hi Online Web Tutorials printed there. Now, let's discuss the let, var, and const keywords one by one, and then we will explore the differences. ECMAScript ES6 is called modern JavaScript. Before ES6, we use var keyword to define variables in JavaScript, but in modern JavaScript, var is not used. Due to some reasons, it introduces bugs in your code. The var keyword has some limitations. Problems with var. One of the main issues with var is that it is function scoped rather than block scoped. This means that variables declared with var are accessible within the entire function in which they are declared, rather than just within the block of code in which they appear. Let's take an example. Now, if I use curly braces like this, it will create a block in JavaScript. If I create a variable a and assign it the value web tutorials, then use console.log to print a. After this block, print a again. The output is web tutorials printed both times. This example shows that var is function scoped. Can be redeclared leads to bugs. var allows redeclaring the same variable in the same scope, which can lead to accidental overwrites. Let's take an example. I'm creating a variable a and assigning it the value 10. Then recreating the same variable and assigning it the value 20. Now print a. The output is 20. This example shows that var allows redeclaring the same variable in the same scope. Let. The let keyword was introduced in ES6 and is used to declare variables that can be reassigned later. Let variables are block scoped, which means that they are only accessible within the block of code in which they are declared. Let's take an example. Let x equal to ram. Inside the block, let x equal to 10. Print x. Print x. The output is 10 and ram. This shows that let is block scoped. Let's recreate the variable x. It shows an error, cannot redeclare block scoped variable. But if I write x equal to 12, and run it, it means it allows updating the value. Const. The const keyword was also introduced in ES6 and is used to declare variables that cannot be reassigned later. Const variables are also block scoped and behave similarly to let variables in that respect. However, the main difference is that const variables must be initialized with a value when they are declared and cannot be reassigned later. Suppose a condition where you want to create an author's name and do not want it to be changed by anyone, then use const. Const author semicolon. It shows an error. Const declarations must be initialized. If I assign it ram, the error is gone. Now, if I try to reassign a value, author equal to Shyam, and run it, it shows the error, assignment to constant variable. If I remove this, reassignment is not allowed for const. The error is gone. But if I create a block, const author equal to Shyam, print the author, run it. The output is ram and Shyam, which means it is block scoped. Let's quickly see the difference between var, let, and const. Var is function scoped, let and const are block scoped. Var allows redeclaration, let and const do not allow redeclaration in the same scope. Var and let allow value updates, but const does not. Constant value. Thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful.